you are likely seeing people on what is the worst day of their life.
Sexual violence survivors lean on people like Laura Clary. As a forensic nurse, her duty is to document injuries, collect evidence, and offer treatment.
We care for them from the bedside all the way to the courtroom.
This work unfolds inside what's now known as the Sexual Assault Forensic Exam, or SAFE program at GBMC, founded by the late Dr. Rudiger Breitnecker. Trained as a forensic pathologist, he began storing evidence samples from each case on microscope slides, starting in the 1970s. Since then, the slides that remain sit in storage at the hospital.
DNA wasn't even a thing back when he was collecting, so we really had the foresight that this evidence could be used in the future.
The decades-old evidence has been a link in arrests and convictions. Captain Brian Edwards says detectives with the Baltimore County Police Department's Special Victims Unit Cold Case Division pores over old reports, searching for a match to pathology samples. A subpoena is required to take the evidence from the hospital to test.
Nobody across the country had dealt with anything like this.
Just this year, the trove of DNA evidence would come into focus in a serial rapist investigation. At 70 years old, James Shipe Sr. was charged with attacks in Cockeysville between 1978 to 1986. While this case is one step closer to closure, countless others still wait in the wings.
Do you feel that the department bears any responsibility or regret for not tapping into this trove of DNA evidence earlier that could have potentially brought justice to their case?
The cases aren't just pieces of paper in a file box. That's a person. That's a lot of people. And detectives don't lose sight of that. Unfortunately, the clock may have expired in some ways to bring justice to a survivor, but then justice can be brought by bringing the offender to court.
However, in just days, a move will be made to expedite processing of the remaining slides.
But there is nothing in law and nothing that would prevent these slides from being destroyed.
87 in the affirmative, 47 in the negative.
Come October 1st, hundreds of new laws go into effect in Maryland, including one that gives the slides the same protections as a standard safe kit. Senator Shelley Heddleman helped pass the legislation.
It can't be thrown away, and that they will be transferred eventually to law enforcement, and that they'll be tested.
BCPD is working with GBMC on a plan to transfer possession of the evidence to their department. There is an ongoing process of cataloging the slides, including how many exist per case. Captain Edwards says this data will aid in securing funds to test and a lab to commit to the workload.
It's an administratively heavy task, but it can't be broken down. It has to be 100% accurate for these to stand through prosecution. So hopefully a lot of results come back.
While the full scale of the evidence preserved by Dr. Breitnecker, not per protocol, but compassion, remains to be seen, those using the slides to assist in investigations say it's had a rippling effect decades later.
For the victims and survivors of sexual assault and any violent crime, we don't forget.